YouTube, what's going on? It's One Gotti here with the Washington Commanders live stream. And in today's live stream, we're coming with you guys with a roundtable ahead of the Washington Commanders kicking off their season. So I had to bring on a couple of my guys that are very close within this community. So we're gonna let these guys introduce themselves. But before we do, make sure you guys like this stream, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. All these guys' links will be in the description. But to my immediate right, we have Tim Sports Talk. Go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm pretty sure they already know who you are, but
what's up, guys? My name is Tim. I do play-by-play, Washington content, things like that, so you can come subscribe to me. But thank you, Pedro, Juan, for having me on. I actually don't want to talk to Pedro anymore. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, Juan, for having me on. I literally just picked my last player in my fantasy draft, so now you have my full attention. But thanks for everybody for being here.
You mind letting us know who that last player was?
It's gonna be Daryl Henderson.
Trash.
Daryl Henderson.
It's a 12-man league, so I'm throwing my last pick into a because I don't know if Cam Akers is gonna be fully himself yet from that torn Achilles.
One.
So we'll see.
Tim's spicy. Stop being so spicy, Tim.
Hey, Protech, before we let you introduce yourself, I gotta say the mic quality sounds amazing, man.
I appreciate you, bro.
You might as
Shout out to Tim for pressing me out to buy a new mic. Shout out to Tim.
You might as well go ahead and introduce yourself now. Next to Tim, who do we have?
Tone from the Protech Sports Network, and we back with another collab, man. Shout out to One Guy Talk, supposed to have me on, a young goat out here making things happen on these streets. You know what I'm saying? I'm very grateful and very blessed to be on here with y'all with wonderful people that I rock with in this community, man. If y'all want to subscribe to the Protech Sports Network, we're on the 3K on the way. Please do so. I very appreciate the support, gang. And we ready to get this show started, man. Let's get it.
Hey, I appreciate you for coming on, man. And then down at the bottom, we got my guy, Pedro Schmidt. Go ahead and introduce the people.
Dynamic
who we have on.
What's up? I'm Pedro Schmidt. Washington Commanders YouTuber, post almost every single day. Just the name on the screen right there. Go ahead and look that up on YouTube. Subscribe. Appreciate you having me. Appreciate you having me on, Juan. You're always on the channel, so appreciate you coming on
Yeah, so my man Pedro holding it down, staying consistent even while in college, man. So shout out to Pedro.
Shout out to my VTech guy over there, man, Pedro.
Yes, sir. And last but certainly not least,
don't lie to him.
We got Jeris.
Jeris.
What's going on, man? Shout out to Wad. Thank you for having me. It's the corner. Get started.
They like that. But I appreciate you guys again for taking your time out, your night for joining me, man. And as we sit about 48 hours from football, meaningful football at that, from seeing the Bills take on the Rams, but more importantly, this Sunday, our Washington Commanders will be making their debut facing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Before we get into that game, I want to get you guys quick thoughts on the 53-man roster. Is it how you really envisioned it? Is there some surprise cuts that you were, like, come on, why did we do that? But your overall opinion on the 50-man roster, we might as well start with Tim since he's to my immediate right.
Yeah, I guess like the main surprises were like Jonathan Williams making the team, or Amani Rodgers excelling at this training camp. He found a way to make the team. But as far as the starters are concerned, like everybody was pretty much chalk. I don't think there was anything. Like Brian Robinson obviously was going to be the starter. That was going to be a little bit of a surprise considering where we thought Gibby may be locked in the running back one, but he looks so good. Of course, what happened sucks. But overall, our linebackers are a problem. We have John Bostic back, so that sucks. That's the biggest surprise for me. I can't believe he found his way back on a football team, let alone our team. And yeah, it's going to be it's a roster that can be tremendous if our guys hit, and then it could be one of the worst in the league. It's kind of a wild ride we could go on because we have so many guys going into their primes, right? Where you have like a 29-year-old quarterback. You got several guys going into year 4, 5, and 6. There's so much potential here to hit a great stride, and we have a weak schedule, but we got to do it. And hopefully we will.
Yeah, John Bostic, a guy that you don't like. He found his way back onto this roster, as you mentioned. But I'll wait to get my opinion on that after everyone goes. Protech, your opinion on the 53-man roster?
No surprises. Honestly speaking, with the initial 53, that is no surprises actually, except for the guy Dejon Harris, the undrafted free agent. I was kind of surprised he made the initial 53, and I was definitely surprised that Khalil Hudson got cut. That was kind of surprising, but the way he looked in preseason, I mean, it was kind of warranted. Also, Dane Johnson was not too surprised, but slightly surprised. He actually looked okay last year in his snaps that he played last year, but preseason he just got demolished. He got cooked. He got deep fried. He got sauteed with extra seasoning. However you want to put it, he got destroyed, and it was bad. So yeah, he definitely did not need to make this team. But yeah, no surprise with the initial 53. But I'm surprised we didn't sign a veteran corner. That was my kind of surprise. Like Joe Hayden out there, Chris Harris out there, these older veterans that know the game and know how to play the game and know the nuances and what to get away with, not to get away with. They ain't signed one of those guys, but they signed two young corners and have a bunch of youth, inexperienced breast like Similac behind the starters. Not too comfortable about that, but is what it is. But no more surprise of him. We didn't sign a veteran corner, and I'm definitely surprised that John Bostic's back here. I don't know what the heck they were thinking. I don't know what kind of liquor they was drinking the night they signed that man, but they lost their mind, and I need them to stop doing what they did because that was insane and stupid. John Bostic.
Pedro, what you think?
So I agree with what Tim and Tony said for the most part. No surprises, but I'm feeling solid about the offense, but the defense, like the starters, I feel good about, but the depth at every single position is awful. It's just terrible. You look at the D line, you got like everyone is a 7th-round pick or an undrafted free agent except for Fedarian Mathis, and he's a rookie. You got James Smith Williams, Effie Obada, who is besides Fedarian Mathis, who is playing D tackle for you? Like Effie Obada is supposed to play on the edge. He didn't look good in the interior. He's probably gonna have to play there. Like Daniel Wise, maybe. So the D line, don't like the depth there. Linebacker, like I don't have to say a word. I mean, actually 2 words. John Bostic or 2 names, John Bostic and David Mayo. So those are the 2 names. I don't have to say anything else. And then the cornerbacks, Tony talked about it, like not good at all. I mean, I like the starters I like, but the depth, you got some potential there in Tariq Castro Fields, Goose, whatever his name is, Rashad Wild Goose, and then Christian Holmes. But that's in like maybe this year, but not everyone's Cameron Curl. Maybe in a year or 2 they'll be solid. And then safety, I love Cam Curl. Bob McCain is solid. After that though, you got I know Jeris hates Bob McCain, but after that, like the depth isn't great. Derek Force and Percy Butler are both kind of raw, so it might take a while. So I'm not liking the depth on this defense at all, especially at linebacker. It seems like Ron loves to sign the former Carolina Panther guys when they're like back end of the roster guys, but when a guy like Blake Martinez is available or like James Bradbury, like the bigger name Carolina guys, he doesn't even want to go after. So that's just something I've noticed. And yeah, I don't feel good about the depth on this defense at all.
Jeris, what do you think about the 53-man roster?
Pedro took the words right out of my mouth. Tim will tell you, I'm the first person to say our depth was absolutely trash on the defense, and there's no hope defensively. First of all, St. Juice and Kendall and William Jackson, cool. Kendall Fuller is trash. He's trash. Bob McCain is horrible. Derek Force is trash at safety. Okay, Percy Butler is even worse. There's no hope for this defense. Okay, Fedarian Mathis. Okay, that's what we're banking on as far as depth on the D line. Don't give me Daniel Wise. That's whatever. FAO Bob. I love James Smith Williams. Outside of him, okay, Casey too. All right, come on. The defense is going to be horrible. Like the 50. I don't know. We only kept 4 corners, and you have Kendall Fuller on your roster, and the 4th corner you keep is Christian Holmes. Like really, this is so. If any one of our corners get hurt, this is what we're putting in. We're putting out essentially third tamers, really, to just go out and play because there are no second tamers on this roster. They're all third tamers. This is offensively, I have no problems. Defensively, the depth chart is horrible.
I agree.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's crazy, before we touch back on that, how, in my opinion, this team did a whole complete 180. I mean, just a year and a half ago, we were talking about how this defense was one of the best and how all we need is the offense to play average. Now it's like it's reversed. Like, this offense is great now. It has the great potential, and now this defense has just collapsed. And I think part of that is how we not only constructed this, but Jack Del Rio has been a super disappointment. Like, when we signed him as defensive coordinator, I was super excited, thinking, okay, look what he did in Oakland as a head coach. I mean, he had the defensive background, playing linebacker, being Ron Rivera's guy. I'm thinking, okay, we have something. He's been a complete letdown. But to touch on what you guys said, John Bostic has been a name that hasn't been too popular. I'm not the biggest John Bostic fan, but at least it's not David Mayo. The first person off the bench. Okay, John Bostic, in my opinion, is okay as a backup. He's not good when he is your person that's playing every single down. Remember, 2 years ago in 2020, he never came off the field. That's not what we're going to have this time. He's probably going to play a backup role, a veteran presence. Okay, that's cool. It's not the best, and it's our fault for waiting so long into the offseason to finally address the linebacker position, which we should have been addressed in the draft or in free agency because there were so many better options. K'Wan Alexander made a huge play for the Jets in preseason, and he's 27 years old, but yet we don't go out and get this guy. That's the kind of thing that pisses me off about this team. Is because they want to continue to get the same old veterans over and over again and think that something's going to change. That's my issue with that.
Now, can I say one thing? So, adding on to your point about adding the same old veterans, you look at every single year, it seems like the same bubble guys are come to camp, like Jonathan Williams, Jeremy Reeves, Danny John, guys like that are always there in camp, and it's like, we know who those guys are. Jeremy Reeves, I love him. He's a cool story. He is what he, we know what he is. He's maybe at best a third string safety, and that's where they have him. But you look at teams like the Eagles, they're more aggressive. You look at Trey Sermon, who knows what he's going to end up being, but they picked him up. He's a 3rd round pick last year, and they're going to add him to their roster. And at worst, it doesn't work out and they move on from him, but at least he's got some potential. Guys like Danny Johnson that you're bringing into the camp every single year, we know what Danny Johnson is at this point. They're not aggressive. They like to bring in the same old players. And when the good players are available, they don't bring him in. AJ Klein, he's not great, but he seems like a perfect Ron Rivera guy that played for Carolina, played for Buffalo, and he's solid, and they don't want to sign him. So, yeah, I agree with you on.
Yeah, and then you go out and get a Nathan Gary, and in less than a month, he's not even on this roster. So, I mean, it's frustrating at times because it's like us as fans, it seems like we're more smarter than what these coaches are, and they get paid millions of dollars to construct this team. And I agree, at certain positions, they did a poor job. I mean, you talk about the cornerback position being a disappointment for guys like Torrey McTyer is a guy that I've been banging the table about since last year. Since I laid eyes on this guy last year in the open practice, I'm like, this guy has something. I was intrigued, and it was so disappointing to see him get hurt on the very, very last play of the game versus the Falcons. Why haven't we hit his line back, man? What is he up to nowadays? I mean, you talk about Joe Hayden, Protech, a guy that I would have took a chance on. You would have took a chance on, but they just seem like to not do that. I don't understand what is wrong with this coaching staff as far as taking chances on veterans, on players. Again, I go back to K'Wan Alexander, who has been injury prone a lot, but when he plays, he's good. I mean, he forced a fumble in the preseason. We need that on this team. We do, and we just don't have none of that. So that's my spill on it. But hopefully they'll figure out something. Hopefully the defense just doesn't be as bad as we think. And now moving on to flipping the side, let's talk about something positive. Let's talk about the offense. Something that we feel like is going to be really, really good this year. You know what I'm saying? Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dawson, everybody, right? Let me get your honest opinions on how do you feel Carson Wentz is coming along so far. How did you feel about him in the preseason? And what are your expectations on him early in season? And we'll start with Tony. Feels weird calling you Tony.
Yeah. Tony, Protech, it don't matter, bro. It don't matter, bro. It's kind of weird for people to call me Tony these days too. I ain't gonna hold you. I get called Tone and Protech all the damn time these days. White don't call me my damn name no more. But let's get down to the point at hand. So I thought Carson Wentz was solid this preseason. He wasn't great. He wasn't bad. He was solid. With 72% completion percentage, didn't turn the ball over, didn't do nothing stupid. He had made one errant, bro, in 2 games. That's not bad. All this complaint, oh, well, we see Mahomes throw 2 touchdowns. It's Patrick Mahomes. Stop that. Stop that ish. Stop that fool. Stop. Chill out. Take a chill pill. It's okay. Carson Wentz is not Patrick Mahomes. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to be that. It's okay. So he looked solid. He did some good things. He distributed the ball to the right guys. He made the right reads. He didn't do nothing crazy. I like how Carson Wentz has progressed. Did I want to see more? Of course. Who didn't want to see more? But he was solid, and I like what he brought to the table. So I'm excited for Carson, this offense. I think this offense can be crazy. And I'm definitely looking forward to see how this offense looks throughout the season.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, like, not even talking about the offense, but Scott Turner, him being on the sidelines, I think that's going to be way better for him and then instead of being in the box, But that was just a little nugget. Now, let's go to Jeris here with that question. How do you feel about this offense, what they're going to do this year in Carson Wentz preseason?
Love this offense. I think it's going to be a top 5 offense personally. Looking at what Carson Wentz did, to me, he made smart plays. He was able to read the defenses. He took what was there. He took shots when he needed it. When he seen Terry McLaurin lined up in man coverage 1-on-1, that is exactly where the ball went, which is what we didn't have in the previous 3 years. When Terry McLaurin is lined up by himself, screw the rest of the roster. Go to him. Period. That's what I wanted. I love the offense. Scott Turner has not made one bad play call in preseason from what I've seen at all. And I'm the biggest Scott Turner critic. I have nothing bad to say about him right now, but this offense to me is about to be elite. And I believe Carson Wentz, he's basically my MVP for the year. So that's how much confidence I have in him.
So yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a top 5, but I still think it's gonna be pretty solid. Much better than they've had the last few years. I mean, people don't realize how much of an upgrade Wentz is over Heineke. And man, Wentz, I think, is the most disrespected player in the NFL right now. I'm probably gonna make a video about this, but like today, I don't know who made it. I don't know who he was, but he made a list. I think JP Finley retweeted it about like the top 32 QBs. And Wentz is ranked 27th behind Daniel Jones, Marcus Mariota, and Geno Smith. Like, and this isn't just this guy. Like, a bunch of people have Wentz as like a 24 to 30 guy. And it's just like, I don't care how misleading touchdown to interception ratios are. If you have a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, like, you can't be that bad. Like, you can't be that bad. He was, he had his, moments where he was trash, where he, did those left-handed passes or shovel interceptions. But, like, he only threw 7 interceptions last year. For the most part, he was a really solid quarterback. And if we get even average QB play this year, that's so much better than what we've had in the past. And then I think I feel good about the offensive line. The receivers, like, I think this is our best receiving core in a long, long time with Terry, Jahan, Curtis, and you got some good depth there as well. And the running back room, I feel good about as well. Hopefully we can get B-Rob back relatively soon once he heals up. I think that running back room will look really, really good. So I feel good about the offense. I think they will be an above average unit this year for sure, which we haven't had in a long time.
Yeah. Tim.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, I thought looked solid. The one criticism I had on him, which apparently is what has been the knock on him, is that the slight accuracy, especially to the sideline, it didn't help his receivers catch those deep passes. Like Curtis, he threw it way inside with the defender inside. He threw it too much inside with that Amani Rodgers third down play. The little details on that I would like to see better, which comes with footwork. If you watched Kurt Warner's breakdown of him, he is just all over the place with his footwork, tries to throw with different arm angles, and he has the arm strength to do it, but it causes him to be a little bit inaccurate. Hopefully Scott Turner is working with him on that. But overall, the offense, yeah, I mean, they're the 3rd highest paid offense in the league. 3rd highest paid. So if you're going to be the 3rd highest paid offense in the league, you got to produce. And we have all of the ability to. Now we just got to show out and do it because, of course, our offensive line is always going to look solid as long as we have John Matsko. Antonio Gibson, while he's not a great running back, but he's a tremendous athlete. So if you get him in space, try to work with him as best you can. Of course, you have JD. And then, and our receivers, Terry McLaurin is obviously the top dog here. And Jahan, the first-round pick, I hope he steps up to that. Of course, it's well known that I did not like that pick. But I hope he proves me wrong as usual. And Curtis Samuel needs to stay healthy. So this team, sky's the limit as far as offensively. And if we can get 2017 Carson Wentz, then it's hey, top 5 is not out of the question there from Jeris, like he said. Is it my prediction? No, but it's not out of the question is all my point.
Yeah, so I mean, 2017 Carson Wentz would be amazing as far as the aspect of being a top 5 offense. But I say, if you give me last year's Wentz on this team, we're going to the playoffs. I truly think that. He was not as bad, and I do remember a list like that being early in the offseason. I made a video on that. He is not worse than Daniel Jones. Geno Smith hasn't started in like years, man, and you expect him. You think he's going to be better than Carson Wentz? I say part of that is because he plays for Washington. Like if Carson Wentz would get traded to the 49ers, they would probably be hyping him up. But since he plays for the Commanders, Redskins, whatever you want to call us, they're going to hate on him more. And that's just how I personally feel about that situation. But talking about the offense, man, I do think we're going to be really, really good. But a point that I wanted to talk to you guys about, man, Brian Robinson, the unfortunate situation that happened to him. I was thinking, right, Antonio Gibson is going to be thrusted back into the number one running back role. I love Antonio Gibson. You know what I'm saying? I understand the injuries and stuff not the injuries, but the fumbles, rather, is a big issue with him. But let's not act like this guy isn't a 1,000-yard rushing running back, right? I was thinking Brian Robinson is going to come back to like week 5, week 6. So he was supposed to be the running back 1. If Antonio Gibson is toting and not fumbling the ball, and he's playing how Antonio Gibson can play when he's on, by week 5, week 6, you don't start Brian Robinson, right? His shot to be number 1 running back is unfortunately over at that point, right? Or do you think they're going to thrust him back into that number 1 role that they had him penciled in before the unfortunate situation? Let's start with Jeris on that.
No, that is over. Salute Brian Robinson, get well soon, but you second string. Gibby taking it over is over. Gibby not gonna mess up with his opportunity. Gibby knows what he's doing. Gibby, to me, I think Gibby, the first 2 games, he's gonna go stupid. I think he's gonna go crazy the first 2 games. That's gonna alone close the door on that. Shout out Brian Robinson, though. Shout out Brian. I believe him. I don't want to say him missing time. The way he missed time isn't fortunate at all. But I think it's a benefit to him and to us due to the simple fact that we have a bye week at week 14. You bringing him in gives Gibby rest, and he's fresh. So you can kind of have fresh legs and wear defenses down that way going into late in the season. You got a fresh body and fresh legs, and you can't really game plan for him because you don't really know what he can do. So it'll throw teams off when you implement him into the offense and the scheme. So I think that's benefiting that way. But that's Gibby job. I ain't worry about Gibby. It's Gibby job. Gibby job.
Tim.
Yeah, no, Brian Robinson will be the number 1 running back as far as first downs running between the tackles. Okay, unless Antonio Gibson finally figures it out. Okay, and I've been wanting that for the last 2 seasons as far as understanding how to hit a hole and letting the blocks develop in front of him and hitting it with great speed. Right now, he still struggles with that. That's what he showed in preseason. All right, he was averaging like 2 yards a carry or something like that. It was horrible. When meanwhile, Brian Robinson's averaging over 4. Right? Brian Robinson is an actual running back. We all know that we drafted Antonio Gibson as like a weird wide receiver running back. Nobody really knew who he was. Like even the graphics were like running back. And then you hear, oh, wait, he was actually a receiver. And then it's like, oh, what are they doing here? He only had 37 carries in Memphis his senior year. And he absolutely killed it over there in Memphis with those 37 carries. He just took every 7 touches he had turned into a touchdown, right? Including kick return and receiving as well. So he's a home run hitter. He's a tremendous back. But Brian Robinson's the guy that you want in there to wear down the defense, get positive yards basically every time he touches the football. He always falls forward. Always. Doesn't matter if there's 2-3 guys tackling him. He falls in the correct direction, and he doesn't fumble the football. He's safer. He's all that good stuff. And he's still an athlete. Like, he's not quite near the athlete that Antonio Gibson is, but he's much slimmer in person than you think of when you think of a 6'1", 225-pound running back or whatever he is. Like, he actually looks like a tremendous athlete as well. And he could do a lot more than just run in between the tackles. Gibby will definitely, even when Brian Robinson comes back, Gibby will definitely get his touches. He needs to, okay? Get him in screens, get him out in space, because this guy can take it to the house on any given play. But as far as a traditional need a few yards, 3-4 yards to get ahead of the chains and keep the offense humming, you want Brian Robinson in your starting running back role.
I personally think, so you're saying, all right, if Antonio Gibson goes out, Jacksonville, 100-yard game, follows that up with another solid game versus Detroit, Philly, Cowboys, and then week 5 versus I think it's the Titans, right? So you just think automatically they're going to thrust him back in the role. They're not going to ramp him back up. You think Brian Robinson is going to be the guy going back?
Well, obviously, if it's best case scenario there for Antonio Gibson, and he does learn how to run in between the tackles, he does learn how to run forward on 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 2s to make sure he gets what he needs, and he learns these things, awesome. Like, that's the one scenario that he keeps his job. But if he continues to struggle to run in between the tackles, you can't be a 1st and 2nd down running back. You can't. Or a 3rd and short running back. If you're going to, that's what we need as a starting running back. Otherwise, you just play J.D. McKissic. If you just want a guy that can run a great route, pass block tremendously, can catch it at a consistent basis, go ahead and just keep playing J.D. McKissic. No, you need the guy that's able to just. It's so important to get 2nd and 6s, right? And 3rd and 3s or something after 2 downs instead of stuffs on. How many times have we complained the last 2 years? Oh, they ran the ball on 1st down. It's 2nd and 10 now, and it's now 2nd and 11. That's a big part of what Gibby unfortunately does, because he's not a true running back where he can actually have the great vision to be able to understand where to go with the football. He's a tremendous athlete, just not a running back. But go ahead.
So your biggest issue with him is not even the fumbling; it's his ability or lack thereof to hit the hole and actually have vision as a ball carrier. That's your
that's my biggest issue. Yeah, of course the fumbling is a problem as far as that it's a problem. You don't want to fumble the football, but we've had other players have years where they fumbled. Right? He only had one his rookie season, and then last year he had 6. So. Well, and of course, it was very unfortunate. The 2nd carry of preseason, you put the ball on the ground. That's horrible, right? Because especially when you've already have that tag next to you, you can't have your second touch of the football game turn into that. But no, I'm not like dramatically concerned about the fumbling issues as of right now. And Adrian Peterson had fumbling issues. Tiki Barber had fumbling issues. These guys can still be tremendous running backs. It's just the vision has got to be the bigger issue. Sorry, I've talked a lot, but you guys go.
Protech.
So the question is, if Antonio Gibson goes the heck off and does his thug Deezy, will Brian Robinson get busted back in the role? Correct. That's the question.
Well, that or do you think Brian Robinson's shot, to be the starters, pretty much, if that's the case? Yeah. So.
All right, I'll play this. I'm play this. If Gibby has, let's say, 110 carries and 390 yards the first 4 weeks of the season, and has like 3 touchdowns, it's a wrap. He's not. Brian Robinson is definitely RB2, but I do think what will happen is Gibby probably get 55% of the touches and B-Rock get like 45 or something like that between carries. It won't be that big of a difference between RB1 and RB2. Okay, they like Brian Robinson that much. I honestly believe that. I think they wanted Brian Robinson to be RB1, to be honest. I really believe that. Once they saw Gibby put that ball on the carpet, you saw exactly what they did. So, yeah, we're done with you. Go sit on the bench. We're done. Wrap. You're not. Go play with Taylor Heineke. Don't play with Taylor Heineke. The moment they didn't put him back in and give him another chance to redeem himself, I knew they wanted Brian Robinson to be RB1. But if he hold on to the football, number one, I don't think it's the biggest issue. I agree with Tim. I think division's a big issue. He had 1,000 yards last year. He could have been a 1,400-yard back if he saw holes. Honestly speaking. Shout out to Trapper Dive. I watch Maul all the time. I watch his film breakdowns. And there's gaping, wide open alleys. I ain't talking about holes. I'm talking about alleys, Juan. alleys they were creating for this boy. He was missing them and getting a 4 or 5 yard gain. We see on the TV screen, oh yeah, 5 yard gain, yay. No, it could have been a 35-yard gain the other way if he just cut back and got up out of there instead of just, I'm gonna just follow this blocker and get 6 yards. If Brian Robinson shows that vision, that difference between that 6-yard run and 35-yard run, then yeah, I do think that he's gonna get a bunch of touches once he comes back. But if Gibby can show that the vision's better and that he can actually hit these holes and get these 30, 40-yard runs they're creating for this man and these crazy alleys they're creating for him, but yes, I do believe Brian Robinson's RB1 days are done, at least for 2022, that is. But yeah, I believe Gibby's going to go off, and I do believe that Brian Robinson will be relegated to RB2 duties after he comes back.
Yeah, I agree with Tone. Like, if you look at the, run blocking from the offensive line, they were way too good for Gibson to, average 4 yards per carry or a little bit less than 4 yards per carry. But like Juan said, if what Juan said happens, if Gibson is, averaging 80, 95, 100 yards per game before Brian Robinson comes back, then I think it's obvious. I think Gibson will be the starter until he, shows he shouldn't be the starter. If he puts the ball on the ground, I really think, I'm not going to say it's over, but like, if he does it the first couple games of the season, I really think Williams, even though I'm not a huge Williams fan, I think Jonathan Williams is going to get a decent amount of carries. Not necessarily more than Gibson, but like you saw last year, when Gibson fumbled in that Panthers game, Patterson got the carries basically for the rest of the game. So I could definitely see that happening with Gibson. I love Gibson, though. Like, before preseason started, like, I was feeling really, really good about Gibson. The biggest issues with me, injuries and the fumbling, and the vision of as well, but like the injuries are also an issue as well. Like, the amount of injuries he has is just really, really unfortunate. He hasn't missed a ton of games for it, but like, that has an effect on you. Being questionable every single week, not being able to practice with the team a whole week, and then being banged up when you're playing is going to have a negative effect on you. That's what he had all last year. But yeah, I think the first 4 weeks, I feel like he's going to do pretty well. And then I agree with Tone. I think when he comes back, when Brian Robinson comes back, I think he still will get a significant amount of touches, even if Gibson was looking really good. Like, it might be like 30, 60, 10 with McKissick, being the 10. And then we'll go from there. See, if Gibson starts to fumble, then he'll get less, and etc.
I can agree with that, Pedro. I can see that.
I personally, I agree. Like, at the end of the day, that's what I was gonna say was like, if there's no way if Antonio Gibson is out there having 80 yards a game, even occasional 100-yard game in the first couple weeks of the season, there's no way you put Brian Robinson back in the game. And if you do, as the starter and primary starter, and if you do, that just shows you the lack of confidence they have in Antonio Gibson. And people are gonna start to question this coaching staff. I mean, there are already people questioning the coaching staff, but that would make them question them even more. Now, I want to talk about the other running back position. I want to talk about Jonathan. I can't even say what his group is. I want to talk about Jonathan Williams.
We got to talk about this.
Making the roster over my guy, Jared Patterson, who is one of my favorite players on the Washington Commanders. Like, there's no way you really chose Jonathan Williams over Jared Patterson. Like, I understand their reasoning for doing it is because they want a guy that looks similar to Brian Robinson. But again, he's not a better runner. He's not a better and Jared Patterson's 5'8", but you seen his pass blocking last year, what he did last year as a pass blocker and catcher. He's not better than him. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that pissed me off the most about this team is they don't think at times, bro. Because again, your size is the issue, right? That's the issue. But you got to go with talent sometimes. I mean, look at Darren Sproles, Tariq Cohen, some talented small guys in the NFL. You don't just let go of talent like that. And I'm so glad we got him back on the practice squad because I didn't feel like he was going to make it through waivers, man, because he is good, man. He's really, really good. And I really feel like a lot of people don't give him his credit just because of his size. But Jared Patterson deserves to be on this roster. He deserves to be the third running back. How are you guys feeling about that move? Along with how do you feel about that move? What do you think his workload is going to look like? That being Jonathan Williams as him being the third back and actually going to be suiting up week 1 and for the foreseeable future until Brian Robinson come back. Let me start with, let's say, Tim.
I appreciate the love for Jarrett Patterson, and I do love this story. But undrafted free agent, plays with a lot of heart. He's another guy that's a true running back as far as vision. He always keeps that thing high and tight. He doesn't fumble the football, and he looks solid doing it. But unfortunately, he's just not a great enough athlete at this level. Is basically because we put him in the game last year, and he didn't have tremendous ability to actually flash in the actual games, right? He does well in preseason, but when we got into the games where he was needed to succeed on 3rd and 1 and whatnot, it's like, okay, yes, you have better vision than Gibby, but you're not quite the athlete. But I would have loved to see him continue to make the team. I predicted him to make the roster as well before the training camp started, and apparently they really like Jonathan Williams. To me, this doesn't seem like a big deal one way or the other. I don't think either one was going to be the difference here, but once Brian Robinson gets back, who knows if Jonathan Williams will even still be on the team at that point. So it probably would have been the same thing with Jarrett Patterson. He probably would have been next once B-Rob got back. And I just think there's a little bit more versatility with Jonathan Williams than there is with Jarrett Patterson, personally. But I do appreciate that you love him so much.
I do. And again, I disagree though. I think he is the athlete, that he is an athlete that can play at this level. I just think it's genuinely his size. Like the way the guy ball carry vision, the ability to catch the ball out the backfield, and the thing that impresses me the most about him is his ability to pass block at his size, since people want to make his size such a big, like we haven't seen small backs, dominate in this league before. But I agree with Jonathan Williams, and I do think Jarrett Patterson wouldn't have been on this roster if Brian Robinson was to, when he comes back. But I just think as of right now, the better situation would have been for Jarrett Patterson to be. Why? Because at least he has real regular season experience. He's not just better than Jonathan Williams, in my opinion, but he actually played last year, and he played efficiently at times in the absence of Antonio Gibson with injuries and the fumbling. So I think they made the poor decision to go with Jonathan Williams, but we'll see how it plays out. Now let me go to a guy that's similar in the take with me, Jeris, another guy that is a Jarrett Patterson advocate, and unlike Tim, believes that he can play at this level.
Yes. The times he got in last year was positive. There was not one negative from Jarrett Patterson. Not one. Whenever he got in the game, it was a positive. Okay. They specifically did not play Jarrett Patterson in the preseason so they can have a reason to cut him. Because they knew had they played him, you would have had to put him on a roster. So you take, who is Bonifon? Like, who is he?
Bonfire.
Who is Bonifon? Why is he getting carries over Jarrett Patterson? Jarrett Patterson scores a touchdown, and then you hand it off to Sam Howell on the very next play. You let Sam Howell do a quarterback sneak. That means you clearly don't want to see Jarrett Patterson win. Okay. Jarrett Patterson, to me, is perfect. He should have made the roster. Whenever he gets the ball in his hands, he always gets plus yardage. You never see him get stopped behind the line, nothing. It's always a part. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He showed that in preseason last year. Okay. Great vision. I mean, he should. Jonathan Williams, maybe they think because of that Giants game he had against the horrible Giants last year, Jonathan Williams, or maybe they saying, okay, well, hey, let's give him a shot. No, Jarrett Patterson's better than Jonathan Williams. Okay. Jonathan Williams not going to do anything. Like, come on. Like, Jarrett Patterson should be on this roster. He shouldn't be on the practice squad. That's stupid. And that's what's wrong with Ron Rivera and company. They get talent that you play the talent that produces. Like, but they don't do that. They keep talent that sucks. That's what they do.
And I don't understand it with that aspect of it. But let's go with Pedro here. Abdullah. Shout out to Abdullah.
What's up, Abdullah? Shout out.
What up, Abdullah?
Yeah, I am a big Jarrett Patterson fan as well, and I just think that it is what it is. Like, I understand, like you said, Juan, I understand their reasoning. I think that if they would have kept with Brian Robinson on the roster, and if they would have kept 4 running backs, and they kept Williams over Patterson, that's when I would have been like, okay, that's crazy. I was, for the 3 times I was there in training camp, Patterson was one of the best running backs there. Definitely better than Williams, in my opinion. and was one of the stars there. Even though he was playing with the third team, so was Williams. And then I feel like Patterson was just getting disrespected in the preseason games, like Jeris said. Like he's running, like in the last game, he was running behind Reggie Bonifant. Like that is just absurd to me. Even if you don't think he's going to make the roster, like he deserves to get carries over Reggie Bonifant. So, it is what it is. It's not a huge deal, but I think Patterson did show some things last year, like in that Panthers game. He played pretty solid. They were able to win because, he didn't put the ball on the ground like Gibson did. So, and Williams, I think, if I remember correctly, I think he fumbled last year once, but they recovered it. But I think he fumbled. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Tone, take out before we move into the next topic.
They kept Jonathan Williams for one reason. It's obvious. He's big enough to play special teams. That's what it was. They didn't want to play Antonio Gibson. Let me finish. I let everybody else talk.
Go ahead.
God dang almighty. Look, they just thought he was just too small. I disagree, though. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just giving the reason. That's it. Now, you talk about pure running back talent. Yes, Jared Patterson is obviously more talented than Jonathan Williams. We all see it. It's obvious as heck. It is evident. But that fourth running back on the roster has to play special teams. And they weren't confident in Jared Patterson playing specials. That's what it was. And I don't like it that it come down to something so frivolous and so stupid, but that's what it was. That's what it was. I don't like Jonathan Williams personally. I think he's just a 3-yard version of Peyton Barber. That's what the heck he is.
So he
has to do a lot more than 3-yard version of Peyton Barber and Jonathan Williams. Okay, I believe that, but that's why they kept him over Jared Patterson. And by the way, Jared Patterson's not 5'8". By the way, he is 5'6". I am 5'6.5", and I saw that man in person. I was taller than him. Okay, he's 5'6".
Where exactly is Jonathan Williams going to play on special teams? He's not a gunner.
That's the same thing I was just about to say. Where?
I don't know.
Where is he going to play that Jared Patterson couldn't have played?
I don't know. He's too small, bro.
How
if
is he
a small person like myself, I felt disrespected.
That makes no sense to me.
My man went too small, bro. My man went too small.
And my issue isn't like what it's not.
It's a fourth string running back.
That's
It's not going to be the deal.
You went too small.
Listen though, my issue isn't what if they would have kept 4 running backs. My issue is when Brian Robinson got shot and he was going to be out for 5 weeks. Why wasn't Jared Patterson the guy they called up? Why did they call up Jonathan Williams? That was my issue because Jonathan Williams, they want him to be a person that's going to contribute as a right. They didn't call him up for special teams ability because of Brian Robinson's absence. They called him up because they think he's going to do something as a running back. Jared Patterson can do that. But we're going to get off that topic again because Jared Patterson is disrespected. Jared Patterson should be on this roster. My PG brother should be on this roster making noise. He proved himself last year in the preseason and in the regular season. And in his short time, they kept disrespecting him. They only put him in at the end of the game this year. Every time he came into the game, even when they tried to, snipe his minutes, he still produced. So I don't get it, but that's just what this organization does. And if Jared Patterson ends up getting sniped off of our practice squad at some point this season, we're going to regret it. But moving on, let's get into the super chat. Shout out to RST with the super chat. We need to bring back Collins, drop Mayo, and give me Hayden and McTire. Drop Christian Holmes and put Percy at the nickel or at linebacker. He can't play free safety. Let's start with Pedro on that. Pedro, what do you think about this super chat and his comments from my man RST? Thank you so much for the super chat.
Okay, so a lot of questions there. Okay, let me see. So, yes, I agree with Collins. I would bring him back. I mean, the linebacker room is just so terrible that you can either put him at linebacker or the Buffalo nickel position, whatever you need. Just put another guy there. So I like that move. Drop Mayo. I mean, of course, that's a good move any day of the week. Joe Hayden would be good as well. Get some more cornerback depth. I like McTire as well. I mean, I don't think you need to drop Christian Holmes, but if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do to get some more talent in there. And then Percy at nickel or linebacker. I mean, I definitely wouldn't, at least for this year, mind him playing Buffalo nickel. But I think he does have the traits to play free safety. Not necessarily this year, but in the future. So, yeah, we'll see. But I agree with a lot of those comments.
Tim, what do you think?
Absolutely drop Mayo and sign me at this point because Mayo's horrible. But yeah, don't sign me. I'm just kidding. I'm good. Gosh. But anyway, I just don't know how much Collins wants to play for. That's the problem with him is like if Collins wants a big payday, we don't have the money to pay Collins. And yes, he was okay at linebacker last year, but he still can't cover to save his life. So as far as so who is going to play free safety in this situation? But I guess you're still playing Bobby McCain, I guess. At free safety. So at that point, who cares if you cut Percy or not, or move him to a linebacker or not? Because it's still your starting free safety is Bobby McCain, so that's a problem. But I don't think any of these moves honestly really moves the needle for me. I don't. If they did them, cool. If they're not, then it is what it is. I mean, they should just drop Mayo because he's David Mayo. But outside of that, the other guys, I liked McTire last year before he tore his ACL in Atlanta. He was playing solid. And then Christian Holmes, I just think is a scheme fit zone corner that how much Jack Del Rio loves his zone corners that can come up and make a tackle. That's what Christian Holmes brings you. So but thank you for the comment there, Sly.
Well, one thing I will say about the Landon Collins situation and him wanting a big payday, he cannot want a big payday at this point. I mean, the guy is sitting on the bench and we're starting the season in a couple days. There's no way he wants a big payday. If he doesn't take a 1 year, $2 million contract and come play football, he just doesn't want to play football. There's no way you're sitting in September on your couch and you're wanting a big payday to come play linebacker or safety as he wants to be called, even though he's going to be playing in the box as a linebacker. Jeris, what do you want to say about that?
This comment is everything to me. I mean, Landon Collins was phenomenal when he got moved to linebacker. Absolutely phenomenal. They need to call him yesterday. Who cares about David Mayo? Joe Hayden, this stage of his career, he may want to move to free safety. McTire, he should have been back on the roster. I don't know why. Christian Holmes is trash. Percy Butler's trash at free safety. He has no future there at all whatsoever. He's just trash at free safety. That is not his MO. His instincts is the same thing I said about Collins. Those are guys that like to come downhill and they're better closer to the line of scrimmage because that's where they like to play and that's where their eyes and vision lies. We need Landon back. It doesn't. We have Bobby McCain at free safety, so we're screwed either way there. But getting Landon Collins back will be a huge plus for us right now because we need him badly.
Tone.
All right, so I completely agree with everything in this comment. Number one, number two, I do like Jeris's idea of moving Joe Hayden to free safety because of his ball instincts and things of that nature. I kind of disagree with the whole Percy Butler can't play free safety thing. I think I watched the college tape. He does have free safety traits. His eye discipline is trash. It's horrible. And until he can fix that, I don't want to see him on any defensive snaps. He can sit his butt on the bench and watch Bobby McCain and freaking Cameron Curl. I don't need to see him at all. Buffalo nickel, no nothing. No. You sit on the bench. You learn. I want to see you because you're going to get toasted. You're going to buy a double move like you did in the Ravens game and get toasted. Just deep fried with extra seasoning and extra fry. You're going to get destroyed. I don't need to see that. I'm good. But yeah, actually, I like the idea of, sign Joe Hayden, make him free safety. I like Bobby McCain in a slot.
Try it. I don't mind that.
He's a nickel corner by nature. He played nickel in Miami. I don't know what in the hell they thought this man could be a full-time free safety for. I don't know what was in their noggin.
But
they're crazy.
That's another guy who plays better closer to the line of scrimmage. He's great against the run. He's trash in coverage.
Why do they have Juice at slot? He's too big to play the slot.
He's a boundary. Exactly.
He's a boundary corner. Don't make this boy play the slot. These little shitty receivers.
They don't know what they're doing. They don't.
Where'd they go? What happened? Where'd they go?
The personnel is trash.
No, so I like Bobby McCain in the slot. I would like to sign Joe Hayden.
I like Percy Butler in the slot, personally.
Yeah, that's fine too. I just don't want to see him on the field till his eye discipline needs work. I don't need to see him on the field. If you're on the field, bad eye discipline is scaring me. You're going to bite double moves. You're going to get burnt. I don't need that. I don't need it. They get burnt enough. I don't need no one else getting burnt. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Again,
Brandon Collins back, please. Anyone but no one else could play at Buffalo nickel like he did last year.
Oh, please. I let Juan get away with that. Oh, my gosh. I could. Listen, if you think that Bostic is not going to be on the field at least 50% of the time, y'all are crazy. He's going to be on the field a lot. I let you get away with that one. Oh, he's going to be on the field a lot.
I don't think so.
I just don't know. Look, Blake Martinez and Anthony Harris are out there. Those guys are better than what we have.
Blake Martinez is an animal.
Hayden's better than what we have too.
The reason why I think they brought him back is obviously they're going to say, oh, well, he knows the scheme. He's a veteran president. That's BS. Blake Martinez is way better than this guy, one. And two, the reason why I don't think he's going to be on the field as much as he was. He's going to be on the field, but what I meant, he was literally on the field 99% of the time in 2020. He never came off the field for anything. He's not going to have that same role here, and if he does, that just shows you the lack of confidence you have in Jamin Davis, and that's just stupid. They're in the nickel majority of the time, so you only have two linebackers up there. Your two linebackers are going to be Jamin Davis.
Well, they need three.
If you're going to have John Bostic over Jamin Davis or Cole Holcomb, you're stupid, and why? So I think John Bostic is going to come in here. He's going to play, but he's not going to have the same role or impact that he did in 2020. And if he does, that's crazy. And somebody needs to be fired.
He ain't had much impact.
Moving on. Thank you for the chat. I appreciate it. He says, "Why in the hell haven't we signed Blake Martinez? We just talked about it. That's crazy."
Blake Martinez is a dog.
Blake Martinez. I don't even know why did
he's an animal.
He wasn't a scheme fit with their new defensive coordinator. Like, I would 100% sign him over what we have right now and play some more three linebacker sets. Because, the thing is, we're one
He's better than our starters.
Yeah, he is. We're one injury away from playing John Bostic or David Mayo 100% of the snaps. Like, it's not looking good.
Bostic goes off.
At the minimum, get someone like A.J. Klein who you can feel okay about starting.
Yeah, minimum. That's
I signed Blake and Landon.
Right now.
Cut Mayo, cut Bostic, give me Landon and give me Blake. We fine.
Actually, yeah, I'll just cut Mayo. Yeah, I'll just sign Blake Martinez.
But it sucks that they don't think like us. Like, they get paid the millions of dollars to make simple moves like that, but we're here as fans making better moves than them, and that doesn't make sense. But no, Blake Martinez is definitely way better than anything we have on this roster. Just imagine a Blake Martinez and Cole Holcomb. That is amazing. Cole Holcomb was going to get that bag this year. He's going to play middle linebacker, which he should have been playing. And I can't wait to see that. But no, I think John Bostic, he's not going to have the impact that he did. As Tim liked to say, he said, what did he say a couple years ago, Tim? He puts everybody in position. This is from Tim.
But not himself.
Everybody in position but himself.
Yeah.
So it's great to have the veteran brain around there. He's going to put Jamin Davis and all those guys in the same spot, but he's not going to put himself in the same spot. That's why I think he's not going to be on the field as much. I think they're bringing him in just to show these guys what they can do. I mean, learning from John Bostic.
Then hire him as a coach. All right? Like Ryan Kerrigan, assistant linebacker coach, okay? Bring him in as a player coach. Fine. But good gosh, double teaming the flat on 3rd and 16 is top-notch. John Bostic is what we get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many times he is just way out of position on his zone, and it's unbelievable. I don't know what he's looking at.
He almost reminds me of Mason Foster. You guys remember Mason Foster? How bad?
Oh, yeah, his slow self. He was slow as a snail.
He was terrible. And the thing is, again, if Jeris is right and they have him out there playing 90% of the snaps like he was in 2020, we have a problem and we need to fire somebody. There's no reason why John Bostic needs to be on the field more than Jamin Davis. Remember last year they had David Mayo playing more than Jamin Davis, and that's supposed to be our 19th overall pick. How do you expect him to get better if he's on the side? But
are we really that much better right now than Mason Foster and Will Compton?
Will Compton,
2016.
I like Will Compton. Will Compton was good to me. I like Will Compton.
I think we are, for the simple fact that I just love Cole Holcomb. Cole Holcomb is a starting middle linebacker in this league, and
I'm just
saying he was a problem in coverage.
He's got high potential. I blame Jack Del Rio.
He was a problem in coverage.
Will
Jack's
Compton was
trash.
He did look a little snailish in coverage. I can't disagree with him.
No,
I
it's just
do
the wrong positioning. Like he doesn't realize that he needs
I
to actually
blame
guard the
Jack.
player, not the zone, not the piece of grass that he's standing on. He needs if
that's
somebody
what
comes
he's
near
supposed
your
to
zone.
do.
Remember, it's a big circle, right? Like you're not just supposed to stand in the middle of the circle. Like if a guy's over here in your circle, you gotta lean over to him. Like he doesn't understand that concept. Apparently, at least he didn't in preseason. And there goes Travis Kelce, quick pitch and catch. There goes the slot receiver, quick pitch and catch. Like even when we send a blitz right off the slot receiver, he needs to go over there and cover, and it's like immediate quick throw, bang, 5 yards because he's backing up off snap, just leaving a huge gap in the zone. He's got to and it's. I don't even know if I can kind of agree with you guys. I don't even know if I can blame him because
I've been
apparently we
saying
just
that.
don't coach
I've
zone
been saying
correctly.
Come on, man, bro.
I've been saying
It's
that,
horrible,
Pro Team.
but yet
We're
we
a man
love
team.
zone
That's
so
the
much.
problem. We're a man coverage team. That's exactly what we are. We're not a zone team. Clearly, our corners
We don't
aren't
know
even
zone discipline.
none of our corners are zone corners. None of them.
I personally think I think one, yes, Cole Hogan was out of position multiple times, but then again, it's still Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes sees that he's going to get it out quick just like that. So you can't be sending safety cornerback blitzes from the slot on Patrick Mahomes. He's going to pick that apart easily. Yes, I'm putting some of it on Cole Hogan, but at the same time, Patrick Mahomes, that's like Aaron Rodgers seeing something like that. He's going to get that ball out there just like that. I agree for the most part on that. Shout out to Engraven Vids in here. My guy Engraven Vids says, I liked Mason Foster. I did not like Mason Foster. I mean, he the best play I think I've seen from Mason Foster. Do you guys remember a couple years ago? And I literally cried over this game. Yes, I cried. 2017, or was it 18? I believe it was 17. We went into Mercedes-Benz Superdome, play the Saints. We were up.
Oh my God!
The
Here
year
we go.
We were up.
Oh yeah, the Alvin Kamara, 15 points in 4 minutes.
We were up big time in that game. And this man, Mason Foster, couldn't guard Alvin Kamara to save his life. Scores a touchdown and we lose the game. I was done. That was the worst situation that I've seen Mason Foster, and I did not like Mason Foster. The linebacker's been an issue for
Kirk
years.
Cousins decides to just throw it out of bounds and then gets a 5-yard intentional grounding penalty. Like, what are you doing? Don't stop the clock. We need to continue to run the clock. And on third down, he just throws it out of bounds. It was stupid.
Is that a surprise from a guy that took
I'm just saying, it shouldn't have come down to Mason Rudolph. We should have iced that game out in regulation. Frustrating.
But that's not surprising coming from a guy that took a knee versus Philadelphia and headed into
Amazing.
or spike, whatever he did. It's Kirk
At least
Cousins.
we won that game.
Kirk has 2 blunders every year. You know what Kirk does. Kirk has 2 blunders every year.
Man, I can't wait for week 9. But
he's
no,
a Viking. He's a Redskin. He's a Michigan State Spartan. He has 2 blunders every year. That's what he is, Mr. Blunder.
But no,
he's damn good though.
Linebackers as a whole, the player, I understand that. Steve Russ is another guy that I think needs to go. Now, he may not be as bad as Sam Mills, but he is not a good linebackers coach. I think he's coaching these guys poorly. I think they're not putting Jimmy Davis in the same spot that he needs to be. I'm surprised Luke Kuechly isn't a coach right now. As far as at least with the Panthers, why is he not the first guy on their docket? I guess to call it, but
Matt Rule's an idiot.
Ron Rivera called Luke Kuechly.
Even if he just comes in, just like Kerrigan did for a while, Warren Sapp did for a while, just come on in. Just hang out. You don't have to be a paid coach. Just hang out for a week, please.
Now, since we're talking about new coaches, that's the perfect time to bring up that Washington officially have Ryan Kerrigan as their assistant defensive line coach. Now, this is something that comes to no surprise. The guy's been basically interning for the job summer. Before the season starts, they officially made the announcement. How are we feeling, fellas, about that move? And what do you think the impact Ryan Kerrigan is going to make on this defensive line, along with Jez Zanina? And we'll start with my man Tone on this one.
He's going to make a huge impact. I think just getting Sam Mills out here and promoting Jeff Z. I'm not pronouncing his last name. I'm not butchering names on here. Not going to do that today. The combination of Jeff Z and Ryan Kerrigan are going to make this defensive line a lot better. Sam Mills stinked and he sucked, and we know what he was. He was absolutely awful. And now we actually have competent coaching. Ryan Kerrigan brings the experience. He just played last season. He's not out of football for 50 million years like the Wade Phillips of the world and these other guys that's been long gone from football. He knows technical play, which I think that's great because these guys need to not be better with their hands, with hand usage. They need to be better with moves to get to the quarterback. Ryan Kerrigan had moves, unlike Montez Sweat and Chase Young. For crying out loud, learn a daggone pass rushing move. And I learned and now I get to the quarterback multiple ways. Ryan Kerrigan did. He did it with effort. Something that I need more from these two. Also, whenever Chase comes back, when Montez starts the season. And I do think with the interior guys, he's going to help them be better with their hands. Like Duran as a pass rusher is horrible because his hand usage is bad as a pass rusher. I think that will help. It'll help Phil Mathis out. It will help out all these guys. I think we'll see the 2020 defensive line before the end of this season. I truly believe that.
Well, I hope you're right.
Of these guys coaching them up. They actually have competent coaching. Unlike Bummo Sam Mills. Glad he got fired. No, I don't want nobody to lose their job, but he had to go.
I mean, I agree. And not to mention, guys, we're going to have not just one, not two, but three former, defensive line players in their ear. Because, with Jeff Zignina now being around, Warren Sapp is going to be around more often than not, too. So we're going to have three people that done it at this level trying to coach these guys up, and I couldn't be more excited about it. Again, you speak, and that's a great point that I made in my video when we first made it official that we hired Ryan Kerrigan. This guy just played last year. It's not like he's trying to win these guys over or tell them new stuff. He literally played with everyone on his defensive line, not named. I don't think he James Smith was, but I think he was on the roster.
He did.
I think
It's not for Darren Mathis.
No, not for Darren Mathis, rather. So it's not like these guys are just some randoms. He knows these guys. So they're going to listen to Ryan Kerrigan, man. And I'm excited about the move that we made to officially make him the coach. Now let's go to Jeris with that question. How are you feeling about that, my man? What do you think this is going to do for this defensive line?
Love it. I've been calling for this. First off, whoever the D-line coach is, forget him. He's not a D-line coach. That's Ryan Kerrigan. Nobody's listening to him. At the end of the day, Ryan Kerrigan is putting himself in position to be our future defensive coordinator. That's how I feel about it. And he should be our future defensive coordinator.
Why not head coach?
Not if Jack will be fired at some point during the season. He will be fired. To me, I think he's going to be fired by week 5, personally. I love Ryan Kerrigan being here. They had their best year when he was mentoring them in 2020. They love him. They respect him. They're going to listen to him, and I think that's going to change their motivation. He already has the entire – not just the D-line. The entire defense respects Ryan Kerrigan. That's what's huge. So, for me, I think the impact just won't be on the D-line. I think it's going to be on the entirety of the defense, those guys who were here. Because I think Jack lost the defense already. I think they don't even believe in him. So, I think the players are going to turn to Ryan Kerrigan more often than not just the D-line, but also the rest of the defense. So I think hiring Ryan Kerrigan gives you a fresh a fresh voice in the locker room that players respect. He's done it at the highest level. He's the sack leader. You're going out to listen to him. He has the resume. Perfect hire for Washington. Loved it.
Shout out to Door Gunner. He said, so ready to fly out for the opener, man. Me and my man Protech, we're going to be there. So, Section 108, row 21 for me. I think
Section 113, row 16, seat 18 for me.
Yes, sir. And I think we're gonna be in the red zone tailgating lot. So if you're gonna be there, make sure you guys come up to us, man, and speak to us, and chill with us, man. Get ready for this game. Let's get to it. Pedro, what do you think about the Ryan Kerrigan hire? How do you feel about it, and what do you think this impact is gonna do for this defensive line?
First off, I think the week 1 game is the best game to go to because first off, it's a Jag, so hopefully you get a win. Also, it's good weather. It sucks going when it's 28 degrees. You got to wear all that gear. But on to Ryan Kerrigan. Love the move. I think, he actually has recent experience like everyone else said. He played last year for the Eagles, played for the Redskins /Commanders/football team for his whole career besides that Eagles year. Was really, really good. The players respect him. The coaches respect him. He's a great guy. And he actually can teach them, like, he mostly did the bull rush, but he can teach these guys some pass rush moves. And Sam Mills, don't even get me started with him. It's just like you had I've been saying this for like Juan knows. I've been saying this for like a year and a half, 2 years. You got two Ferraris on the edge in Montez Sweat and Chase Young, and they're just relying on their athleticism. They don't know any moves. They don't know any moves, and that, like, partly that's on Sam or on them, but mostly that's on Sam Mills and the coaches to help develop those moves. So I think with Kerrigan, he relates more to the players as well. Played with some of these guys. These guys, like, they just really look up to him. So I think that'll help out a ton. And I like the role for Kerrigan, himself too, because he's the assistant, so he won't need to put in as much work as the, Coach Z. I'll call him Coach Z.
Tim, take us home before we move on to the next topic. What do you think?
Yeah, Ryan Kerrigan, great hire. It's awesome. Yes, obviously the chemistry with the guys. He understands, like, he was not necessarily the biggest athlete around, but he knows how to get his body correct. He knows how to work. He knows what drills to run. He knows everything and how to improve yourself to get the most out of yourself, which he did throughout his career, which is great news for him. But he's not the next defensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, he is.
He's
got put money on
quite
it.
A few.
Keep talking. Put money on it.
We can put as much money as you want.
Put $100 on it right now. Put your money where your mouth is. He's going to eventually be the defensive coordinator of this team. $100.
He said put a band on it.
$100.
Dude,
He said put a rock on it.
When do I get paid?
$100.
Until he dies?
$100.
So I'll see you in 50 years when Ryan Kerrigan dies, and then you finally pay me my money. You're not.
All you know is perfect. That's it.
No, we have to see the next D coordinator, because when do I get paid? It's a bet that I never get paid.
That's all you doing.
Within 5 years. I think that's safe. Within 5 years.
Within 12 months.
Well,
Within 12 months. He needs to get
something
paid.
like that. Yeah.
Get paid.
We're doing this bet of a vague thing of, once he's hired, I have to pay you 100. But for me, I could just sit there for decades. But anyway, no, he's not going to be the next defensive coordinator. I hope he is. I mean, that'd be cool. That'd be a great story. But it's just, he's got a long way to go before he gets there. We're not firing Jack Del Rio and then hiring Ryan Kerrigan. That's just not how
That's
it's
exactly
going
what's going to happen.
You know what?
Or we'll promote within. We wouldn't hire. We'll promote within. But before we move on to the final, or not the final, but move on to the next topic, we have two topics to talk about. Emmanuel Hart has a question. Do y'all think Ron will be on the hot seat if we finish with a losing record?
Heck yeah, he will be.
Answer on that. We can all collect.
You fired.
He said he fired.
Fired. It's no way, bro. No. You destroyed this roster already. Half the people half the good players are gone. Okay, good players are gone. You drafted Jahan Dotson at 6'10". It's no way you have a losing season. You can't. You drafted Federian Mathis in the second round. You cannot have you. There's no way. If we start off 0-4, he needs to be fired immediately. I don't care who you have I don't care. He needs to go. Kerrigan. Not with this roster. You cannot have a losing season with this roster in this schedule. If you do, you need to go. Period.
He's more than a coach here. He's more than a coach.
I don't care what he is.
Jack Del Rio's on the big hot seat.
He's more than a coach.
But he's way more than just a coach. He's not going anywhere. He's going to get.
If he has a losing season, he's gone.
It would have to be.
And don't tell me.
And really,
and don't tell me he's a leader amongst men, because that's not going to get it done for me. I don't care. You can't be a leader amongst men.
He's the face of the franchise. With Dan Snyder being a freaking moron.
Go to the next topic.
With him being a moron.
Face of the franchise. Have 100%. A losing season if you want to. Go 6-11. Try it.
We're trying to change our MO, and he is the face of that.
Change
as far as
okay, put him in the front office.
Being.
With nothing.
That's
just
the problem.
Have him be the.
We've been slime balls for
let him be a motivational
decades.
speaker.
Horrible.
Let him be a motivational speaker for the roster. Let him do that. Fire him everywhere. Let him be a motivational speaker.
It's not even that I'm arguing that I would be upset or anything that he'd be fired. I just don't think that Dan Snyder's going to pull the trigger for Ron. Now, Jack Del Rio's on the hot seat. His seat's super hot, but I think Ron is at least going to have another year, if not two, after this one, even with a 5-12 season. somehow this year.
I wish
He
you
signed a
would.
5-year contract, right?
Yeah, 5
Correct.
years.
This is year 3.
So I personally think even if he has, just because of the amount of power he has over this, it's not just Jay Gruden, okay? Jay Gruden was just a regular coach. Bruce Allen was still, but the amount of power that Ron Rivera has over this
He don't
organization, Dan Snyder's not gonna fire him, even if he has a terrible
Okay.
season. Although us personally would want him fired, they're not gonna do that because of the amount of power he has over this organization.
I agree with Tim that Ron is a leader or whatever. I agree with that. But he should have no bearings on offensive play calling or defensive play calling. Just be the head coach. Just be there to lead. That's it. He doesn't need to be. He's the GM. He's all this stuff that he should not be because he's not good at it. That's the problem. He's not gonna give over. Not Jack. Jack needs to go. But let Scott Turner call whatever he wants to call. Let the new defense. Let them get Mayhew and Hurney out of there. And you shouldn't have let go Kyle Smith. That's what you shouldn't have did. Go back and hire him, okay? Offer him as much money as you can for GM. And then you just leave stuff alone, and they will be fine. But the problem is Ron is doing everything and making all the decisions, and that's where the problem lies.
I can't disagree with that.
I think that is true. But like I said, I just think they're not gonna fire him out of the season because of the amount of power he has. We're all agreeing that that's the issue, is that he has so much power that they're not gonna fire him. If he was just a regular Joe Smo, like a Jay Gruden, Mike Shanahan had power, but we know how that
It's true.
he's not gonna be fired, even if he has a terrible season, just because Dan Snyder hired him to save his team. You know what I'm saying? Let's call it what it is. He called Ron Rivera and said, "Hey Ron, I need you to save me and turn this organization into something that it once was, that I totally destroyed." If that wasn't the case, we would have hired Joe Judge, or who was running that during that time, Joe Judge or somebody. We hired Ron Rivera because of the face that he has, and Dan
we would
Snyder
be a clown show.
Yeah, we would.
That's fine. Just strip his power and leave him as head coach.
He knew that.
Take the power away.
We're not going to.
Another year. We're at least 2 years from a new.
Don't worry. Next year we're gonna draft the center with our first overall pick, our first round pick.
We're bad, but we're not Patriots bad. Okay, we're not going to draft range with our.
Okay, it's us. Remember that.
We drafted Jahan, bro.
We drafted Jahan Dotson. Nobody.
Enough.
We thought we was getting Kyle Hamilton. We thought we was getting Chris Olave. We thought we was getting. We probably could have got Derek Stingley. We thought we was getting all these guys, and we ended up with Jahan Dotson.
Dang, bro. Don't do my man like that, bro. Dang, bro. Come on.
At least he drafted a receiver
like that.
Jahan Dotson, Darian Mathis, and
Juan,
Brian Robinson.
At
least he
Juan,
drafted.
Percy Butler.
Juan, listen.
This draft couldn't fail. Guess what we did? We found a way.
You say at least we drafted a receiver. We drafted the wrong one. He wasn't even the best on the board.
My point is, what you're saying, we're going to draft a center. My point is, at least a receiver. We're not going to go for Jahan Dotson and Strange, bro. Okay.
Now we drafted a center like Ryan Kelly.
You know what I'm saying? We're not going to center in the first round. Like, come on now. We're bad at drafting, but come on, we're not going to draft.
You're taking him too literally, okay? It may not be center, but it's going to be dangerous.
It's going to be something.
You give Ron Rivera draft picks, and Martin Mayhew, who's one of the worst drafters. I can't believe we hired him after what he did in Detroit. It's horrible. But you give him the reins, and it's scary times.
We could have had George Pickens. We got Jahan.
Scary hours, man. Scary hours.
It's cool. It's cool because understand
Trent McDuffie, George Pickens, and Lee.
Bro, we got Darian Mathis in the second round.
That literally could be our 3 picks.
Darian Mathis.
I made a video on it. I did not want for Darian Mathis. That was a terrible pick. We should have gotten the Kobe Dean. But
terrible. No, it was a terrible pick. Wait, real quick though. I think the Jahan Dotson disrespect is a little bit too much. Because, like, I agree with some of it. Like, like Jeris, I wanted Kyle Hamilton bad. Like, that was my guy. That's why I wanted us to take him 11. And if he was there at 16, man, that would have been a great pick. But, hey, I'll take Dotson over Olave, or at least Dotson plus Brian Robinson plus Sam Howell plus Cole Turner over Olave. You look at Olave, he
Are you
had
talking about 11?
Yeah.
yeah at 11. At 11, I didn't want Olave. I on stream I told Juan I didn't
I'm
want.
not mad at that.
Yeah, but because you look at Dotson's production, he had more production than Olave with
He's better than Olave.
with no receivers around him, with a terrible QB versus Olave, who has C.J. Stroud, who had Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith, and Jibba.
CJ Stroud ain't not too shabby himself.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's good.
He's okay.
He's gonna be a top 10.
He's okay.
He shouldn't be a top 10 pick.
He won't be a top 10 pick. If he plays like he did against Notre Dame, he will.
He
fall
played
off.
like trash in that game. He looked
He
horrible.
did. But I think he's gonna be a first round pick. Sean Clifford is not.
Sean Clifford's horrible.
Yeah.
He's a disaster. That's true.
I can't debate that.
Okay. He's a disaster. But look, the problem is it's not that Jahan can't be a good player. He could be a fine player. I have no problem with Jahan as a player. But the likelihood of him living up to the 16th pick is 1%, 2%. Like
1%?
literally.
Yes.
All his comps, all your comps that you could come up with are second, third, fourth round picks. All of them. Like he is not a pick 16 overall. He's literally got to turn into Antonio Brown to be worth pick 16.
Why? So he has to be a top 5, top 7 receiver
100%.
of all time.
He was drafted before Justin Jefferson. Not in the same draft, but the same place, same positioning.
He has to be just as good as those guys. That's the point. He has to be.
He's got to be better than Terry.
Hold on, time out.
This is ridiculous.
Time out. Let me ask you a question. Let's say Jahan plays 10 years. He has a Santana Moss-like career. Does he live to the 16th pick overall? Yes or no?
I can't. I gotta say, yeah, man. You know what? You slick. You slick because you said Santana, so you slick.
Santana. I said
And you knew
Santana.
Santana was picked in the first round. You knew that was my man. So of course, if Santana had a quarterback, he would have been in the Hall of Fame. The man got over 10,000 yards receiving and like 80-something touchdowns. So
If Jahan has
but he got Tanner.
He has to live up to Santana. He has to live up to Santana now to get to
I can
16.
respect. Okay, I can rock with that.
That's the point. Okay,
Let's
if
put
you
it
drafted him in the second or third, and it's like, okay, well, that's a little bit more reasonable, because we basically drafted him at the height. We didn't get any value there. We drafted him as high as you possibly could get a Jahan Dotson. That's where we drafted him, even over what I would say. But when you have a guy like George Pickens there at pick number 55 or whatever, we could have had it pick 47. It bugs the crap out of me in that situation.
Well, he doesn't have the highest ceiling in the draft, but he's the best receiver in the draft.
I think he has the highest ceiling.
I agree with Tim. I think we overdrafted Jahan, but I still think he would have been a first round pick. Like if you watch the docs,
And I still think that would have been a bad pick.
I mean, we'll see. I'm usually against taking a receiver in the first round, because I think you get way better value in the second, third, fourth round. But I'm not super against a Jahan Dotson pick. You know, I think he's gonna be I think he can be. I don't think he's going to be as good as Terry. Maybe he will. I think he can be a 1AB with Terry. Like, I think he can be a number 1 receiver in this league and be a Pro Bowl type player.
So
number 1.
I'm gonna need Santana 2.0 from him. I have to agree with that.
Let me ask this question.
And I love Jahan Dotson. I'm a Penn State fan, so that's just telling me how I feel about Jahan. I like Jahan a lot though.
So y'all are saying, and mind you, I did not like the Jahan Dawson pick either at the time. It grew on me eventually because I seen the kind of person he is and his work ethic. But at the time, I wasn't a fan. But let me ask this: You're saying you wouldn't have liked the pick even if we traded it back? So we traded back once with the Saints. If we was to pick up the phone, because Green Bay called us and was interested in us trading back again, if we would have took Jahan Dawson at 24, 29, y'all would have had an issue with it?
I'd have been pissed.
Cool.
I wouldn't have had an issue with it if we drafted Johnson in the 20s. I had an issue with us because I would look at what we had on the board: Kyle Hamilton, Chris Olave. I would have had an issue with that. But if we trade back twice and we picked up compensation from the Saints and the Packers, and then we get Jahan Dawson and we got still the same draft plus more because we would have got more compensation and better picks from trading back twice, you can't be mad at that. You can't be mad at him.
I can be because he wasn't the best receiver on the board. You didn't take the best receiver. You took him. He wasn't the best receiver on the board. We needed at 24. We needed a cornerback, as we can all see. You could have just took Trent McDuffie, then double back in the second round and got George Pickens. That's a way better draft than drafting Jahan Dotson in the first round at 23. Well, you know you needed a corner
Or Devin Lloyd.
and
Looking
linebacker.
at Devin Lloyd instead
I
of
think Devin Lloyd
freaking
23 been
John
solid.
Bostic in the
Devin
back
Lloyd-
end.
You coulda-
As much as I love, as much as the
You're getting the
linebacker, listen, as much as the linebacker position is a situation that needs to be handled, at 20 you need a playmaker. Unless Devin Lloyd was going to come in here and be Darius Leonard, there's no way you take him at 24. There's
Exactly.
no way. So you need a playmaker.
I'm taking him over
Which is-
Dotson, is what I'm saying. It's
Why?
not even
No, I
my first pick.
understand that.
Because I can
understand
get good receivers later in a draft.
Exactly.
Okay, and the same you can get good linebackers in the
You
draft.
can get good
Perfect.
linebackers.
Don't
See,
go
but that's the
linebacker. That's fine.
problem.
But
That's
our
the
linebacker
problem.
is horrible. Our room is horrible.
Why draft
That's
Jahan
why.
Dotson in the
If you
first
want
round when you can you can get George Pickens in the second and N'Kobe Dean like the third? That's literally how the draft is.
Wait, real quick,
Kobe's gonna fall that far.
He
Nobody knows.
did. That's the point. He did. That's the whole point of it. They botched this completely.
So what was George Pickens?
Watch in the second round.
George Pickens 55th pick.
He was like,
And
yeah, the
what
50
was
pick.
our-
We had pick 47 or 48,
Yeah,
one of those two.
47, and we picked. And again, I did not like the Federian man, and I still don't like.
We could have
it,
gone
right?
Jaquan Brisker.
We
If
needed
we
to
went
say
Dotson, then Brisker, then Chenal, I would feel better. But I still wouldn't like the pick 16, but I'd feel better about it. But we took a running back who are dimes a dozen. I like Robinson. Running backs are dimes a dozen. We took we replaced two
God,
fifth
you're
round
evil.
picks with a freaking second rounder because all of a sudden we have to have a backup D tackle that's a second rounder when we've replaced Tim Settle and Matt Ioannidis, who we drafted in the 5th round of their respective draft. But we had to have them. It was a must to have Federian Mathis. And then all of a sudden now we're talking about we may re-sign Daron Payne. So might not even be a Daron Payne replacement. He may be a rotational guy throughout his career, and we had to have a rotation guy in the 2nd round instead of anybody competent at linebacker. A receiver with size. The only receiver we have with size is freaking Cam Sims. That's the only one. George Pickens brings a 6'3" body into the room. We have a bunch of short, fast receivers. We have a bunch of Jahan Dotsons out here. We don't have a George Pickens. Like, there's so many reasons. Anyway, starting to get back onto the draft. I have a lot of feelings.
Wait, can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
And I agree with the people in the chat, like, that no one's played yet. We don't know. But, like, I kind of think that because Tim was saying, like, you know, the receiver room wasn't as bad. I think, like, you look at the receiver room last year with Curtis Samuel, like, out, that receiver room was awful. That was terrible, terrible, terrible. And you don't know how Curtis Samuel's going to, like, if he's going to get injured again. He was kind of in and out of the offseason. So, like, without Curtis Samuel, like, you need another receiver. And, yeah, they could have won 2nd round. I would have been fine with it. I just don't think it's as bad as everyone's saying it is. I think it was just okay pick.
Look,
they could have been better.
yeah.
It could have been better. I would have
Okay.
taken Kyle Hamilton. That would have been my pick.
Everybody in the chat that's saying that we haven't watched him yet. That's fine. You can live life living in, hindsight 2020, okay? I'm giving my opinion now based on what I know now. Obviously, I'm hoping to be dead wrong. I want this team to succeed, all right? I would love to go 17-0 and win the Super Bowl and all of a sudden be cheering on Jahan Dotson because he just had a 1,600-yard, broke the rookie record. I would be through the roof and so happy to be wrong, and you guys could come in my chat and tell me how wrong I was and how horrible. Good. That would be tremendous. But I'm giving my opinion based on what I know, based on what I saw on film of the players that I did watch, based on what I know now. And now I can either say I was right or I can say I was wrong. I'm making my opinion known now instead of hindsight 2020, where everybody's going to be correct in hindsight 2020. Everyone's going to be correct. So I'm not living in that spot because we haven't seen anything play.
Federian
I hope we're
Mathis
wrong.
ain't living up to no second round pick. He just ain't. You wasted a pick. You could have got him in the 5th round.
I would love
Like-
to be wrong.
I mean,
It's Federian.
we all agree on that.
Like, come on, bro. You could have got him in the 5th round, bro. Like,
We
come
all
on.
agree on that pick. We all agree on the Federian Mathis pick that was terrible. We reached.
We didn't need a running back.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't think we needed a running back either. You know what I'm saying? I personally wanted to go. Best player available at 16. I wanted to go linebacker in the 2nd round and safety in the 3rd. We didn't need a running back. I agree with that. But the 1st round pick, Again, this is coming from a guy that didn't want Jahan Dotson. But y'all made some solid points. But I have to disagree. Jahan Dotson does not need to live up to Santana Moss' expectations to satisfy that 16th overall pick. Why? Because he's coming to an offense that's loaded. He's not going to be the number one option. It would be different if he was number 16 and he was coming in and had to be the number one option and he had to be that guy. We already have so much around Carson Wentz. Jahan Dotson doesn't need to be a 1,000 or 1,100, 1,200, 1,300 yard receiver because he already has a partner in Terry McLaurin. That's just my take on it as far as him needing to lead.
I don't care about a first round pick for
No
1 year.
way, bro. No,
I don't care what he does this year.
No.
Okay, it's not. You don't draft a first round pick for 1 year. Okay, obviously we're gonna look at a career here. He could have 400 yards and he's still not a bust yet. He could have 1,200 yards and he's still not an extreme success yet. Like 1 year is not going to be the huge judge of Jahan Dotson. All right, we're gonna talk about him throughout his career, and hopefully he gets a second contract. Hopefully he turns into a great player. But that's what you don't draft the first round pick.
Exactly, but no, that's my point there. My point is, okay, if Jahan Dotson consistently gives you 800 for the next 4 years, are you satisfied?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So out of 4 years, he has to give you 1,100.
He got to give me 1,000 yards over.
You're the 16th overall pick.
And Terry McLaurin is still.
But that's the point, Juan. Why?
Terry McLaurin was a 3rd round pick.
That's the point.
And we're getting 1,000-yard receivers out of him. We've gotten back-to-back 1,000-yard years out of a 3rd round pick, dude. Yes, I need 1,000 yards out of a pick 16. 800 is not good enough if you are pick 16 in the NFL.
Compared to what he could have had.
I think I'm fine first year if he goes out 750, 800. But after that, he's got to, it can't be 3,200 yards over 4 years. He's definitely got to continue to get better and better every year. He's definitely got to make the Pro Bowl at least one time, probably 2 times in his first 4 years to validate being a 16th overall pick. But I think Dotson's going to be good. He's got a high floor. We'll see about the ceiling. But I'm excited to see him play on Sunday. Really excited.
He has to be better than every wide receiver that was picked after him.
How will
and that ain't happening.
I think he's going to be better than some of the receivers drafted before him.
Oh, you lost it. Maybe Traylon Burks.
I think Jahan could be better.
He's going to be better than Olave, Jeris. Watch.
Say it again, Tone. What'd you say?
I think Jahan has the potential to be better than every receiver drafted after him besides George Pickens. That's the only guy who took over Jahan. Honestly. Because Pickens' ceiling is ridiculous. Pickens' ceiling is just crazy. I can't.
I think Christian Watson has the highest ceiling. That's just me personally.
Christian Watson has a huge ceiling, a 6'4".
But he's just raw.
He don't play to his size.
He's just raw. That's all it is. But he's playing with Aaron Rodgers.
Chase Claypool.
That's the difference. He's playing with Aaron Rodgers.
But there's also some one kid that went to Buffalo, Shakir or something from Boise
Khalil?
State. Yeah, Khalil Shakir. He's had a great preseason so far, and I think he got drafted in the 4th round. And he's a guy that could have been a very interesting pick later if you wanted to get him with your 4th round pick instead of Percy Butler. There was options here, and am I saying he was better than Jahan? If I had an option between the two, I would take Jahan. But if I have an option between Jahan at 16 and Khalil at Percy Butler's pick, I'm taking Khalil every day of the week. It's not even close.
Jahan better Scott Moore. Jahan better Scott Moore.
So I got one more question before we move on to the next topic. Right? I got another question to go along with this. Right? I love having discussions like this because we get so many diverse opinions. So if Jahan Dotson, right, for the next 4 years, like I said, has the 800 yards and it has, let's say, 8 touchdowns or whatever, but we're constantly winning, we're constantly in NFC championships and making Super Bowl appearance. Let's be real. Are we still gonna be thinking about him being drafted at 16 if we're winning?
Irrelevant.
So at the end of the day, winning is going to cure anything. It doesn't matter what we say now. If we're winning and Jahan Dotson is putting up 500 or 1,200, if we're winning games, at the end of the day, no one is going to care where Jahan Dotson.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's a fair point.
And I hope so.
Just win.
I also hope Jahan ends up having 1,600 yards and 12
you
touchdowns.
Because I'm definitely going to be on his helmet.
And again,
I hope he does.
Yeah, this is coming from a guy that's just with you guys that wasn't a big fan of the Jahan Dotson pick. I'm just giving it from the glass half.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. Yeah.
Okay. But now moving on, we're an hour in and we haven't talked about the game coming up this Sunday. A lot of people, if you guys haven't looked, are picking the Jaguars to win. They're acting as if they're just the same old Washington Commanders. And someone actually said they want to get some insight on what Jacksonville has. So let me start with my man Jeris. What are you thinking about this game this Sunday from Washington Jaguars and just overall opinion on this Sunday's game?
I think it's going to be a shootout. I don't know if Cam's playing. I don't know. I hope and pray that he does because that's the only way it won't be a shootout. But I'm banking on him not playing. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think our defense is going to get embarrassed. But, however, it just so happens that our offense is now our best unit. I think Carson Wentz is going to go out there. And this is like Carson Wentz lost to the Jaguars the last game of the season. He comes back. He gets redemption. I think Carson Wentz is going to go out there. He's going to ball out completely. I think offensively, I think we all going to be excited and have some fun. Defensively, I think we're all going to be pissed off. But I think Trevor Lawrence going to have the best game of his life against us. I like this game. This game is going to be very entertaining, and I can't wait. But I just believe that this is going to be a shootout because the defense is just that bad, personally.
Now, a shootout as far as honestly, I love Cameron Curl, man, and I really, really hope he plays. If he doesn't play, it's going to be a huge blow. But I'm a big Jeremy Reeves guy. I really am. So if we have to go from Cam Curl to Jeremy Reeves, I wouldn't mind it. Of course, I want Cam Curl, but I'm not pissed off.
They're going from Cam to Derek Forrest. It's over.
I don't think Derek Forrest is the first guy going to go in there either. I don't.
Who will be the first guy?
It has to be Jeremy
You're
Reeves.
gonna throw Jeremy Reeves out there. You think you're gonna put Derek Forrest out there? No experience.
That's what they have on the depth chart. I don't know. I think Derek Forrest.
I hope y'all right.
They're throwing Reeves out there. They're not throwing Derek.
They love
And
Forrest.
I don't think it's gonna be a shootout. I'm not that big on the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Yes, they understand they got Christian Kirk, and so I'm not a big Christian Kirk.
That's the point. It's not them. We're just that bad defensively. That's the problem. We're just that bad. Christian Kirk gonna look like every bit of that $18 million that he got on Kendall Fuller. He's gonna look like the best receiver in the league. That's just what it's gonna be.
I don't think Kendall that.
He is going to cook fried Kendall Fuller. Who want bet money?
I don't think.
Oh my gosh, he was bad.
I don't think Kendall Fuller is that bad. Like, I'm not a big Kendall fan anymore because I feel like he lost a step. But he is not that bad.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Moving on to let's go with my man Pedro. Pedro, what do you think about this game? Your overall thinking and preview.
I mean they gotta win this game at home versus the number 1 pick from last year. Like, I don't care how much better they got. They had the number 1 overall pick last year for a reason, and they overpaid on a bunch of like mid-tier guys. Like, they're a better team. Like, I think they're gonna be okay this year. Like, not okay, but like below average, like maybe 6-ish wins. But that's a team you should beat 100% of the time at home, and I think they will. Especially also, I think the Trevor Lawrence you're getting now is going to be way different than the Trevor Lawrence you're going to get week 15, week 16 in terms of the type of quarterback he is, because he's still super young. He hasn't had many games yet, so I think it'll get better as the season goes on. And Doug Peterson is an experienced head coach, but there's always that like a little bit of adjustment period with a new head coach and with the QB and everything. So that might take a few weeks. So I'm going to go 24-20 Commanders, maybe 27-20. Might switch it up a little bit later, but I think the Commanders are going to win this game. And I got to go. Appreciate you having me on, Juan. It was fun talking with you guys.
Yes, sir. Peace,
Thanks,
man.
Peace.
All right, jump back into it. Let's go with Tone. What do you think about this game? Your quick preview on this game.
This game is going to be a mother dog fight. This is not going to be a blowout. This is going to be a dog fight. The Jazz will come to play. All Commanders fans, don't be surprised. We're in the fourth quarter, just scrapping and clawing with the Jaguars. Okay, don't expect to be come in here and blow them out in the fourth quarter. Carson Wentz sitting there sipping his daggone Gatorade. No, it's gonna be a dog fight. It's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be nasty physical football game. I actually don't believe it's gonna be a shootout. I don't. So I think the Jaguars gonna want to run the ball first, kind of get Trevor comfortable, not try to throw around the yard. And then as the game get along, but not been able to throw around the yard, as they beat up the defensive line a little bit, get them a little tired, a little frustrated. They can't go get Trevor Lawrence because every other down they run the darn football with Travis Etienne or with James Robinson. I think that's how it's going to go. I mean, a dogfight, nasty, disgusting. Not only a defensive struggle, but it's points going to get put on the board. I don't think it'd be 17-14 in the fourth quarter. No. But I do think both teams want to establish the run first before throwing the football. That will allow it to be a little bit more physical game than people think it's going to be. Also, I don't think the defense is going to be as bad as everyone thinks it is. That left side, that Jacksonville offensive line is not great. So I'm going to need Jonathan Allen and Montez Sweat get their act together and go get Trevor Lawrence and stop anything that comes on that left-hand side, period. Brandon going to hold it down that right-hand side. I miss him.
Brandon Sheriff is going to be out by week. Brandon Sheriff is going to be out by week 5.
That left-hand side looks weak.
Brandon Sheriff's going to be out by week 5. Come on, I love Brandon Sheriff to death. But
He going to play in this game. That's all that matters to me. He going to play in this game.
Moving on. Tim, take us home. What do you think about this game?
I'm glad that we're facing this team now instead of later, where Trevor Lawrence will have more time and Travis Etienne can get his legs under his, and Doug Peterson can start to figure it out. So Jacksonville's a team that I like where they're headed. Unfortunately, I don't like the Kirk signing. That was insane, but everything else, they have a young quarterback of the future. They drafted a couple of linebackers I wanted with Lloyd and Muma on that defensive line. And Trayvon Walker looks solid. So they're trending in the correct direction, but they need some time. I think this is a game, like everybody else said, we should be winning. We need to win, and we have the team to win this game. So I'm hoping we get off to a good start, 1-0. I would predict that we do get off to a start 1-0, and somewhere in the 23-17 range is completely reasonable here for an NFL game, and I think that'll be my prediction there. 23-17 Commanders.
Okay, so it looks like we're all picking them to win. Now, my biggest issue is nothing on their offense. Marvin Jones, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, they don't scare me. Okay. My biggest issue, if anything, is their defensive line versus our offensive line. I think our offensive line is solid, but Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen, who I'm surprised none of us brought up him. They have some really good, solid pieces on that defensive line, and as Tim talked about their linebackers, Devin Lloyd, and all the guys that they have there. That's my
biggest concern. They got Okwam, right, from Atlanta.
Yeah, they got
They do have him. Yeah. He had a bunch of tackles last year. So that's my biggest concern is their D line versus ours. But truth be told, man, a lot of people are picking Jacksonville to win, and I just don't see that being the case. First game is the Commanders at home. This new offense, I think we're going to totally just dominate these boys. I think this final score is going to be close, but I think overall we're going to have control. We're going to get the early, never look back. But that's just my mini preview. Now, the final topic before we get out of here, guys. Week 1 slate kicks off in 2 days. Let's get our quick predictions of the Week 1 slate, and then I'll get you boys up out of here. I appreciate you for coming on. So Week 1, Thursday Night Football to kick off the 2022 season. Buffalo Bills at the Los Angeles Rams. Who do we have? I have the Buffalo Bills winning this game. Jeris, go ahead with your prediction.
Be Buffalo.
Protech.
Give me the Rams. They're not going to lose on that rain night. Give me the Rams.
Tim.
I love Buffalo this year, but yeah, I think I got Rams at home. Buffalo has to travel cross country. I think it'll be a great game, and anybody can win it, but I'll go with the Rams on this one.
I got the Bills, man. I think the Bills are the best team overall, roster-wise. I think they're the Super Bowl frontrunners, and I think Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the NFL. Moving on to the Sunday slate.
I disagree there.
Eagles. Who do we all have?
Eagles, Lions? Is that the game we're talking about?
Yeah. First game.
Detroit, what? Give me the Eagles.
I got Eagles.
Detroit is going to be way better than what a lot of people think. Detroit offensive-wise is really, really solid. I don't think they're going to beat Philly, but they're going to be really, really solid offensive-wise. Their defense is a little bit concerning, but offensive-wise, I think they're going to be solid. But give me Philly. Jeris, who do you have?
Be Philly.
Philly. All righty, moving on. 49ers, Bears. Got the Niners.
The Niners
I feel bad for Justin Fields. I feel bad for Justin Fields. Because I personally feel like Justin Fields is better than Trey Lance as a quarterback, but the talent-wise around San Francisco, around Trey Lance is way better than Justin Fields. Bears put him in such a bad predicament, man. It is terrible. But I feel bad for Fields, man. But give me the 49ers. Tim, I'm assuming you're taking the Niners too.
Yeah, Bears are gonna have a rough year. It's gonna be a rough one for
Steelers.
the Bears.
It's gonna be
Steelers,
rough.
Bengals, Steelers just announced Mitchell Trubisky as their starting quarterback. I don't think the Bengals are going to have that deep of a playoff run that they did last year, but I do think they're going to be a playoff team still. Give me the Bengals to start off the season.
Give me Cincinnati. Pittsburgh ain't going nowhere, and they ain't
Give
gonna
me Pittsburgh.
I got the
Have
Bengals.
fun with
Jeris
that.
is taking Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Have fun with that.
I got the Bengals.
Hey,
The Bengals.
Jeris-
They're at
Jeris-
home.
Bengals.
Jared
Pittsburgh can
said
win.
George Pickens is going to kill Eli.
George Pickens
He is
gonna
gonna
kill
probably kill Eli.
Give me
Eli
Pittsburgh.
Apple.
T.J. Watt, defensive player of the year himself with my man Cam Hayward. Give me Pittsburgh.
So everyone is picking Cincinnati but Jared. Okay, moving on to the next game. We have Patriots, Dolphins. Give me the Patriots. I understand the Dolphins have made a really, really big splash getting Tyreek Hill. Defense is amazing. I'm just not a big believer in Tua. And I was not a big fan of the Patriots all season. I just think they're going to be subpar this year, but they're going to stay competitive because of Bill Belichick. But to start off the season, I think that defense is going to be too much for Tua to handle. Give me the Patriots. Tim.
I agree. Patriots. Bill
Protech.
Belichick, week 1 for sure.
I'm gonna take the Dolphins. I would not be surprised if they win this game. They're not going to win because of Tua. I think Miami has a really good defense at darn selves, actually.
Tua is.
And they have a. I think what Mike McDaniel is going to do is just keep it close to the vest, run the football, keep it very simple, keep the game plan very clean and easy for Tua, and the defense going to do their thing. I think Mac Jones is going to struggle. He's going to struggle. So give me the Dolphins, but the Patriots could definitely win this game, though.
Jeris, Dolphins, Pets.
The Mac Man.
I'd take the Dolphins.
You know what, the Mac Man?
Even split.
Don't you have the Mac Man winning this division?
I like Tua.
Didn't you pick the Patriots to win the division?
Shout out to Nico,
Yeah, I
man. Nico,
And
real.
you can't even beat the Dolphins?
Please subscribe and super chat.
I like Tua.
All right.
I would appreciate that, sir.
That makes one of us.
Nico, thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Nico says, great
Thanks,
live,
Nico.
fellas. Keep pushing and be you. Keep your heads up and blessings. Again, thank you, Nico.
Blessings
Make
you
sure
too,
you
my
guys go
brother.
ahead and subscribe to my boys. 90 of you guys up in here. Jeris to my bottom left. Protech to my bottom right. Tim to my immediate right. And my man Pedro before he left. Make sure you guys subscribe to these boys, man. Great content. Channel links are back in the description. Now, get back into the slate of games. So 2-2, me and Tim taking the Patriots. Jeris and Tech is taking the Dolphins. Moving on to Browns Panthers. I got the Panthers winning this game. Jacoby Brissett is the Browns starter. That should just be enough. Unless the Browns are going to run the ball 90% of the game and they just pound the Panthers that way. I got the Panthers winning this game. Jeris, what do you have?
Give me shake and bake.
Tim.
I got the Browns. The Browns are a pretty deep team. Even with Brissett, they'll run the football on them. I got the Browns.
Okay. Tech, what do you have?
Man, Baker, you ain't getting your revenge, bro. Give me the daggone Browns.
So
Give me the Browns. The Browns.
Are you serious?
Wow, I think the Panthers going to win that game. I don't see Jacoby Brissett being able to beat Carolina. Baker
Just
Mayfield.
run there, Jeris.
I got Baker Mayfield taking down his former team. They did him dirty. I got Baker Mayfield going out for blood. Moving on. AFC South showdown between the Colts and Texans. I'm a person that think the Texans are going to be better than what a lot of people think because of Davis Mills. I really like Davis Mills. However, give me Matt Ryan and the Colts. Protech, who do you have?
Who the Colts are playing?
Texans.
Houston.
And Houston.
Oh my God, the Texans. Yeah, Colts.
You don't think Lovie Smith is going to have them boys ready to play?
Oh, they Houston be ready to play. They be ready to play, but I don't think no one's ready for Jonathan Taylor. So I'm gonna just go ahead and take the Colts.
I think that AFC
animal,
South.
man.
I think that AFC South is just terrible, man. And that division is just hard to watch. But Tim, who do you have? Colts, Tex.
Jeris knows that I was on Davis Mills that draft. I thought he was a top 5 quarterback in that draft, but I'm going Houston. I'm taking the upset.
Hey,
Give me them.
I'm
over
not
the Colts.
surprised
I am
if they're
not
not.
high on the Colts. Houston is at home. I don't think Matt Ryan's going to have a great year without he had Julio, and then he went to Calvin, and then last year he did not play well. I think he only had like 3,500 yards or something like that. Not the 4,900 yards that we're used to out of a Matt Ryan kind of guy with super high-powered receivers. Michael Pittman ain't that guy. I'm predicting the upset here. I got Houston over the Colts.
I would not be surprised, and a part of me wants to take Houston, but I'm going to be safe and take the Colts week 1. Jeris, who do you have?
Be Indy.
Indy. So King Sean, let me just put this up here. King Sean says, unrelated to the topic right now, but a report came out saying Chase Young reactivated his knee injury. Update. False report.
False report.
So I had to put that out there. Had to put that out there just so everyone could be calm, understand Chase Young is okay. False reports. As we know, a lot of people like to put out fake reports. But moving on to the next game, we have Saints, Falcons, good NFC South showdown. Give me the Saints. Protech, who do you have winning that game?
Yeah, give me the Saints, man. The Saints marching in. Gonna destroy everything.
Saints not close.
Yeah, they're going to ATL too. Jeris, who do you have?
Say Saints not close.
I pray Marcus Mariota throw 10 picks in the first quarter.
He
I gotta
was so bad.
I gotta go with the Saints.
So bad.
Clean sweep. We got the Saints winning that game. Ravens Jets. This could be a sneaky game, and I'm torn. I'm torn right here, and the reason why I say that is because Joe Flacco is going to be going out for blood. I'm going to pick the Ravens, but the Ravens. Do not be surprised if they have a letdown to start off the season. The Lamar Jackson situation. Nah, I'm just kidding.
This is a 42-7 game written all over it for the Ravens.
Lamar Jackson,
all over
5 touchdown passes, 298 yards through the air, 100 on the ground. I think it's going to be a close game. I really, really do. I think the Jets, if they had Zach Wilson, probably would have had a better chance to win. But that offense is going to be fun to watch. Sauce Gardner going up against Rashad Bateman is going to be fun to watch. However, I think the Ravens are going to win this game, but do not be surprised if the Jets.
Oh, I'd be shocked. I'd be
Jared,
shocked.
who do you have winning that game?
Ravens.
Protech.
If it's within 2 touchdowns, I'd be stunned.
Wow.
I mean,
Ravens win, but Jets cover the spread.
What is the spread? 30?
7.
No shot.
7.5. 7.5.
Jets definitely have the offensive weapons to keep up with anybody. They just don't have the quarterback right now.
That's why I'm saying I would not be surprised.
If Zach Wilson was playing, I'd pick the Jets, but he's not playing, so I'm picking the Ravens.
You'd pick the Jets over the Ravens?
I mean,
the
the Jets have a ton of offensive weapons. That's not going to be no easy game.
Oh, jeez.
And it's in New York or New Jersey.
Like, Marlon Humphreys has to prove to me that he's still that top corner. Last year, he was abysmal. And Marcus Peters got to come back off of ACL. And then they got a lot going on defense. And I love the Ravens, but I'm picking them. But if Zach Wilson was playing, I would have picked the Jets.
I would have been tempted to pick the Jets, too, because that offensive vibe. Already they got Breece Hall and what's the other one?
They got Gerald Wilson, Breece. They got a whole rago of like
Corey Davis.
Michael, what's that? Michael.
Oh, and don't forget about my guy, Berrios. Braxton Berrios is such a really good receiver.
Yeah, Braxton Berrios is solid too.
Big Simple 422. I appreciate the super chat, my guy. Says keep doing it, Big. Doing it simple. Take command. We lit. Shout out to my man Big Simple. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Big Simple. If you
subscribe Big Simple 422, man. Me and you, Big Simple 422.
Yes, sir. Now moving back into the game slate here, week 1. Jacksonville Commanders. We're all picking the Commanders to win that, right? Easy sweep. We can move on. Packers, Vikings. Although Devontae Adams isn't a part of the Packers no more, still give me Aaron Rodgers. It's Aaron Rodgers.
Christian Watson playing.
I'm not sure.
We don't know. We're not gonna know till Friday.
If Christian Watson's playing, Packers. If he ain't, Vikings.
Give me the Vikings.
Ooh.
Give me Minnesota. Minnesota.
This is in Minnesota too. So
man, give me the daggone Packers. Tim think he bold. Give me the Packers.
I got the Packers too. Anytime you got Aaron Rodgers,
taking his chest out.
Okay.
Give me Captain Kirk, man.
It's not December yet. Kirk looks great in September and October. Kirk looks tremendous.
MVP front runner.
That's what I'm saying.
Every September, and then he just has a meltdown by week. I'll be on. I wouldn't be surprised if Kirk Cousins is tearing it up by when in week 7, week 8, he's tearing it up, and then week 9 play him, and we just destroy Kirk Cousins, and after that he just goes back to being bad. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But moving on, Giants, Titans, another game that could be a solid game, a game because I'm just not high on the Titans really.
Titans,
the Titans.
Titans.
I to the Titans, but I believe that the Giants will cover the spread. They'll keep the game close.
What's the spread? 48?
It's like 10.
I got the Titans too.
Titans.
It's like 10
Titans.
points. Though.
Giants not healthy.
Moving on, Raiders. Chargers probably one of the most watched games of the week. Oh, this was tough. I had to make a decision early when I did my prediction video for the week. Oh, this was tough. But I am going to say
I'll go Chargers.
I went Chargers.
I'll take Chargers.
I got the Chargers. Tim has the
San Diego.
Jeris has San Diego, even though they're in LA now. Protech.
The Los Angeles Superchargers. Give me this them Chargers, baby.
All right, you guys just made me feel a lot more comfortable on my decision earlier today because the Raiders was a very, very tough, team.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
Really, really good game to watch, man. It sucks. I don't think the Chargers are going to have J.C. Jackson, right? They're not going to have J.C. Jackson. I think he's going to be. He had surgery, right? So they're not going to have J.C. Jackson. So that means Asante Samuel is going to be trying to guard Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow. Okay. Derwin James getting that new bag, so that should be fun to watch. But we all got the Chargers here. Okay, moving on to the next game. Chiefs Cardinals. No DeAndre Hopkins in this game. Give me the Chiefs. Tim, who do you have?
Sorry, I was just reading this tweet here just to make sure. JP says that his sources are saying that there's no setbacks. He's just working back from the knee injury from last November. There was actually a report four days ago from Bleacher Report. This is just actually resurfacing that said Chase Young reportedly re-aggravated knee injury at Von Miller's pass rushing camp. But that was 4 days ago, so I guess they just tweeted it, and that's what's getting the hype right now. But I don't know. I think that might be a little bit overstated. But anyway, as far as the Chiefs Cardinals, this one's a tough one too. This is a great game. I'll take the Cardinals at home.
You think that's gonna be a good game? No, even without D Hop, you think that's gonna be close?
It'll be good for.
Yeah, I think it'll still be. I think it's still.
The Cardinals have more weapons than just DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
right?
they have Green, they have Rondell Moore, they have Hollywood Brown, they got James Carter, they got Darrell Williams,
Zach Ertz, Trey
McBride. Yep. So
not
a
big fan of Hollywood. He hasn't proved it. He has hands like a snake. I do like Rondell Moore. However, Patrick Mahomes is still under center. They got Sammy Watkins now, right? Or is he?
No, Sammy Watkins in Green Bay. They have Juju.
Green Bay. I meant to say Green Bay.
They have Juju.
Juicer's who I meant to say they have.
Now,
I like Kansas City. If Kansas City was at home, I would take Kansas City. But Cardinals also are a team that plays really well early in the season. They were like the last team undefeated last year before they fell apart.
And they defense better.
Yeah, they also have defensive players.
So y'all,
they have those young linebacker
Kansas
duo.
City. Kansas City
I'm taking
Cardinals. Cardinals. Jeris Cardinals.
Yeah. I'm taking the Chiefs, man.
My
homeboy.
Anytime, as much as the Cardinals, as you guys talk about the Cardinals, man, so anytime you got Mahomes, you just can't go against Mahomes.
Trash.
All righty, now moving on to the final two games of Week 1, Sunday Night Football, Bucks, Cowboys. Who do we have here? I got the Bucks.
Man, anyone but Dallas, give me the Bucks.
Give me the Bucks.
Didn't they play like last year, Week 1?
Yep.
Yeah, Thursday night.
It was a great game.
Really good game. It was a really, really good game.
I got Tampa. They're gonna beat the crap out of Dallas. Dallas ain't got nothing on defense.
And not to mention, they just lost Tyron Smith for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was gonna be.
And they got
super. All right, now moving on to the final game, and we'll get you guys out there Monday night. Seahawks, Broncos
Denver.
country. That's
Denver.
right. Who do we have?
They started Geno Smith. Are you serious? Denver.
The Broncos are about to obliterate the Seahawks. This is about to be one ugly Monday night match.
It's in Seattle. I want to say,
It's in
Oh
Seattle.
my gosh, I feel bad for all Seattle. Don't even go to the game, bro. Just stay at home. Unless you want to watch Russ cook, just stay home.
But yeah, man, that's my week 1 slate. Our predictions for week 1. I appreciate you.
I'm taking Geno.
Oh, I'm going home. Oh, I'm going to sleep.
Seahawks.
I'm going to sleep.
He takes the Broncos.
I'm taking Geno.
No, he
Give me
ain't.
Geno.
You're a troll.
Give me Geno in the upset.
He's taking Gino. Oh no.
He's
Give
a
me
troll.
Geno.
You ain't
They would
taking
have
no
had a
Geno.
better chance with Drew Lock.
Look,
Drew
I'm
Lock's
rolling with
awesome.
Seattle. I'm rolling with Seattle. Give me Geno.
Really? Are you being serious?
No,
I'm dead serious.
He's
I'm
a
rolling
troll.
with Seattle.
Wow.
Put money on
so
it.
Jeris is going with Seattle.
Put money on it.
Oh, we should put money
I
on
put
it.
20. I ain't scared to put money on
You
nothing.
Nah, you're not betting. You're
I
really betting
put
20 on
20 on it.
Seattle.
Put 20 on Seattle.
Little Dubsky on it.
You better be careful. I'll take that bet. You gonna lose $20? You
I
serious?
put $10 on it.
We're already going backwards.
I bet $10 on it right now.
No, I won't take your money on that one. We'll keep going.
All
Yeah,
right,
you
so-
scared of Geno.
Oh, dude, all right, one more time.
Oh,
You taking that
$10.
bet? All right, we're in.
$10.
It's locked. All right, I'm
Oh,
taking it.
you're right.
Go
You
Geno.
call me out on that?
Let's
All
go
right.
I
Geno.
got free lunch. Somebody
Go
get free
Geno.
lunch, man.
Give me 10.
Let's
Somebody
go
get free
Geno.
lunch.
$10 bet is now on the line with Seattle and Denver. That's gonna be fun to watch.
Free lunch on the line. Free lunch.
So, there you guys have it, man. I appreciate y'all boys for kicking it with me tonight, man. The season is right around the corner, man. 2 days away from NFL football, and we're about 5 days away from Washington hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, me and Protech will be there live at the game, and we'll be in the red zone live tailgating. Tim, Jeris will be holding you guys down with the live stream for Week 1 Jacksonville Commanders. As always, me and Boy Wangati. Like, comment, subscribe. Helps to Washington Commanders. On the road to 5,000 subscribers. Subscribe to Jeris 2K, Protech 3K, Tim 3K, 4K.
Yeah, we're on the road to 4K.
4K for Tim. Make sure you guys got all my fellas, man, including Pedro Schmidt. Don't forget about him, even though he left early. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'm out. Peace.
Cross me one time, that's gonna get you popped. Get you popped, get you dropped.